I prepared a CrossFit Taylor's roast real quick
Oh boy.
using AI. So this isn't my words.
So we're gonna get roasted. Then you want me to answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I call this segment Chat CFT.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Off the Rails. Again, we are doing this kind of weird camera angle to start because we have another guest here this week, and we'll actually continue for the next couple weeks as we already have a schedule built out for the next 4 to 5 episodes with a special guest to come and be on the podcast with Cameron and myself. So with that said, I'm going to switch over to Cameron now, and he will take over from here.
That would be me. Today we have Mr. Nuno 5 himself, the captain of Nuno 5, maybe we should say.
Oh,
This is
I'm representing. I made
Ronnie. Oh, there we go.
Made sure to represent
It's
today.
Ronnie Covert or Covert?
It's Covert. It's not French.
I kind of like the French version though.
I'm sorry. It's got a cool story. We don't need to get into it, but
Okay.
it's a
Maybe
made
we
up.
are on
It's basically
podcast.
a made up name from like a few generations ago.
Oh, and they're just like, this is what we want our name to be.
So my great grandfather was like a boxer wrestler, and when he turned the lore go like the story goes that when he turned 18, he really wanted to get out there and start fighting, but his mom wasn't into that, and his name was Charles Williamson, and then he was like, I'm going to change my name to Harry Covert, so that when they put the results in the newspaper, Mama doesn't find out. So
Interesting.
I would be Ronald Williamson maybe if he didn't do that. But,
Ronald.
yeah.
Well, we like Ronnie.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ronnie goes well. On the Nuno 5 subject, I like the meme that you sent me earlier
Mm-hmm.
from The Office.
Yeah.
He sent me this meme, and it was like, I like for my employees to show up on time so that when I get there, we can properly get started.
Right.
And he said, this is about my Nuno 5 members. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to Ronnie and CrossFit. So you came in, well, I'll ask you what got you to come in the door.
Yeah.
But then also you did have a knee injury, so we can kind of go into that a little bit as well. So
Yeah.
what, I mean, you just came down the road and saw CrossFit Taylor's, or what was up with that? Like, what was like, I'm going to walk in that place?
Right. Yeah. So the knee injury is what started it. And I did PT for a while, got better. And I realized that playing volleyball once a week was not the best way to stay fit. Even if I thought I was fit, I obviously wasn't. And I realized I needed to do something. And I started looking up gyms near me in Taylor's. And I'm already like coming to the mill all the time for the brewery and restaurant and whatnot. And so it was kind of desirable place to join just because of the proximity to everything I already do. But I knew I needed like a noon class for working at home. It's just easy with a family. I don't really want to do something in the afternoon, and I am not an early riser. So I wanted to find something right around noon where I could take like my lunch break and work out. And then I needed a group atmosphere, people around you that can push you, and coaches that can tell you what to do. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to go join a Planet Fitness and run on a treadmill and lift some weights. That might be great for some people, but for me, I would never get to the potential that I can get with other people pushing me. So
Cool. Do you remember, because I really don't, when you started, because you've always been a noon, was
Yeah.
the noon class that big? Was it? I feel like noon was small for a while, and then all of a sudden it got big.
it definitely got huge now. I would say no, it was never more than like 10 people for a while. So you'd get a handful of people here and there. And it's always random. One day, I don't know if it's depending on what's scheduled, but one day it's all women.
Yeah.
One day it's all guys. One day it's a mix of that. So yeah, I'd say it definitely has grown a ton.
That's, yeah.
And I don't know if that's like COVID and more remote work.
Yeah, maybe. Because you started in 2020, 2021.
I've been here like 3.5 years now, so it's probably 2021. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You might be the first person that came in with a current kind of injury, I would say, that wanted to get it healthier for a sports related reason.
Yeah.
Which intrigued me because, like, A, I just wanted more members, like trying to grow the business. But then B, I was like, ooh, I kind of want to help you get this knee healthier. And like, you know, like the whole thing with CrossFit is like work out so that you can do the other 23 hours of the day, and or like, you know, what your workout should make something else. Like, what are you trying to make better? And for you, you immediately were like, I want to play volleyball. Like, I want to get back to playing in the sand, not being worried about my knee giving out on me, things like that. And so I immediately was like, well, we can do that. I mean, like we could focus on some things, but we also like just CrossFit in general. If we're actually programming appropriately, like we should be doing things to help build your legs and whatnot. So that was for me like cool. I get to like help this guy build a story and prove, hopefully, at the time, like I didn't have any proof, like we were just barely growing. So it was like that, like CrossFit is this thing that like I believe it is, that we can really help somebody get back to their goal and do that. So with that, would you say like you immediately noticed a difference, or it took a little time, or like what like how did it go? Like you started working out, and we obviously had to teach you a lot of things, but then like you were still playing, from what I understand. I mean, obviously you had surgery, right? Or
No,
you never
I
had surgery?
had a minor tear in the MPFL, whatever some intertendon. My kneecap went out and back in when I was playing volleyball one
It's
day.
always good.
Yeah, that was horrible. But I remember when I first came in, you were like, "Let me take a look at you," and we did some things like testing stuff out. And I remember being really surprised. I don't know if I was lifting some weight like while walking up on a box
Like a
step
dumbbell
up.
stuff, yeah.
And I remember my left side being harder, more difficult than the injured knee.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, well, you've been focused on, building that up with the physical training for the last like 6 months.
Yeah, the PT work, yeah.
So definitely took some time to not only get confidence, like mentally do things. I still struggle with that, with stuff like a squat snatch or it's just squatting in
Like
general.
fast.
Yeah,
Get to the
definitely
bottom of
like
the squat
catching it.
position.
Yeah. The cleans but yeah, it took some time. But the one thing I've liked a lot about CrossFit is just kind of hitting milestones. It's just really encouraging. I remember when I first started here, like I definitely wasn't even close to squatting my own weight.
Yeah.
And now I'm still like at the bottom of the leaderboard.
But you're way stronger.
With the group of guys that we have here.
Yeah.
But compared to where I was, like I'm very proud and happy and thankful for the progression that.
Yeah.
And it takes time. You see little things every year.
Do you feel like that, like getting stronger legs has like translated to volleyball? Like, do you feel like you play better, or you can jump higher, or like, I don't know, play longer without getting fatigued? Like things like that? Or do you think it's placebo, or do you actually like notice like?
I think that I've definitely increased my jumping ability, and I just turned 40, and I feel like I can jump.
Did you know?
I don't know. It's just exciting to like hit this age, but be in the best shape of my life right now. So being able to play better than I had in the past, jump better, I feel like I could remember times before I started working out where you almost feel like you lose your legs after a while, and you just can't get up there and block somebody or hit. And now I've been playing, and I feel like I've done much better. So yeah, I feel like it's real.
Did you, before doing CrossFit and even maybe pre-injury, were you doing like any kind of like sport specific training, like
Absolutely
volleyball?
not.
No. So
that's just like,
you're just like, I'm good. I'm an athlete. I like volleyball, and that's what I do.
I was talking to this PT once, and I told her like I do CrossFit, and she was like, "Oh, blah blah," like so many injuries that I find, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's because I mean, I got like if you don't know what you're doing, it's because you can hurt yourself." It's like I did it myself too, and then I learned how to get better. But what I said is, I told her I was like, the knee injury that I had that got me into CrossFit was one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I wish that it happened when I was in my 20s, because not only did I meet a lot of cool people and everything, but like I'm in the best shape of my life now. And yeah, I've had like minor injuries here and there, but it's because I was way too competitive when I first came in, and I'm like, "Ooh, I can do that. I can do that. I'm as good as him." It's like, no, you need to chill.
Yeah, but I mean that whole thing too, like people like to put a label on like, oh, CrossFit causes injury, and it's just like, okay, like it does come down to coaching some, but also like at least these people are doing something and trying to get better and pushing some limits. And as long as it's not like a devastating injury, which maybe does happen here or there, like you're not getting any healthier sitting on the couch or just like only going for a run or something. Like we do have to like start moving you through some range of motions and asking you to try some things. And then like, okay, we find out that there is an issue and we need to focus on that, which then does turn around and make you fitter, healthier, versus that thing probably would have just continued to get neglected for a long time and caused more issues down the road. Right. So I do think like a lot of people say that, but they don't even like realize that like I see it as like, I mean, I'm gonna work out, like my knee's kind of bothering me right now. Like I probably squatted a little too hard and mixed it with some other stuff. And it's like, okay, that's fine because I'm not gonna like let it go crazy, which is why we ask our members to like, hey, let us know if something's bothering you so we can A, look at how you did it or your movement pattern, but then B, avoid making it worse.
Yeah.
And then C, help you make it better so that it doesn't happen again.
Right.
But like some people just like put this label on like, oh, I got injured.
Yeah,
and
I didn't
it's
even
just
know there was
you
like
know what I
a
mean?
stigma
Like,
about it when I
yeah.
joined. And then when I started to hear about it, I'm like, that's just nonsense because I can see the results.
I do think it's getting better, the stigma of it,
Yeah.
but I
Well, because
also
you
like
look at people that do it and you're like, oh, that guy probably. Now the thing I hear the most for like before I even knew much about CrossFit, you might hear like, oh, CrossFit, somebody gets hurt doing that. Now I go, you see a really fit guy and now some random person be like, oh, he probably does CrossFit.
yeah,
So I
That's a
think
good
that
switch.
you're right. It has
good switch.
switched totally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sweet. I was just interested in your whole volleyball background and training.
Yeah. But I'm 100% like the knee injury, as painful as it was and as horrible as those 6 months were, like one of the best things that's ever happened to me. So I don't know if anybody else feels that way about an injury. But
Yeah. Well, I will say I think some people or like something they find something else out like when they get injured or like figure out something else with their body or have time to train on something else. Like, oh, I hurt something on my lower body. Cool. I get to get stronger upper body wise or something like that.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I think like I do notice with people that come in with injuries, sometimes they are worried about an area and sometimes that side is stronger and not even sometimes I would say majority of the time because if they went to a good physical therapist, yeah, the goal was to make that.
Yeah.
So say your knee better. Well, this side kind of got neglected or you were given exercises and you only did this side and you forgot that like we should do that bilaterally to keep it also strong. And so then when you came in, you're like, oh, this side's fine. But like the side that's been healthy, like sucks.
What
And
the
it's
heck?
like, all right, well, like the good news is we can build that back up too. And it wasn't injured. So hopefully we can get it back equal. But I do notice that a lot. Or like just being able to like watch people squat.
Yeah.
And then walk up to them and was like, hey, did you ever hurt your ankle, knee, or hip? And they're like, yeah, how'd you know? And it's like, well, you're shifting sideways because you're trying to avoid mentally what you think is still hurt, or you built a bad pattern or a bad habit when it was hurt. And now that's how you're moving.
Right.
So it is like good that you saw it, but it's like it probably would have come out if you just kept letting it go
Yeah.
over and over. And then it
Start to
probably would
really
have started
favor
to,
one side and
affect further down the road some
Mhm.
things. So I'm glad you found us.
Thank you.
We enjoy
I'm
having
happy
you
to.
around.
Appreciate you guys.
Glad to know that we've helped make you better.
Thank you.
That's always a good run.
Yeah. Still here.
So I would say obviously you came in for your knee and stuff.
Yeah.
You found some community.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's something I've always wanted to ask
yeah, go for it.
was like, is this place normal? Is this like community that we got here normal? Because I didn't work out anywhere.
Yeah.
So I've had a volleyball community just from playing. I've had different communities like with the kids being involved in things and church and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like, is the community that we have here at CrossFit Taylor's like a normal thing?
Is it normal for gyms or normal for CrossFit gyms?
I guess I would consider, is it normal for CrossFit gyms or like group fitness classes in general of some sort?
I mean, I would imagine I've never done other group fitness outside of CrossFit.
Yeah.
But like I would imagine that any group fitness situation, you're gonna talk to people at some point and there's going to be some sort of vibe of quote unquote community.
Yeah.
It depends on how much the community part gets pushed, or if it's just, hey, you're going to show up each day. You happen to work out with these people. You might get to know one or two of them. And then like, that's the extent of like what happens. And I would say a lot of CrossFit gyms probably happen that way too. Like not every CrossFit gym pushes the outside of class activities, right?
Yeah, that helps.
That like, that's probably one of the biggest things that like we have done or do more different, probably back when we first started and we opened, like a lot of gyms do it now, because people like to hang out with each other. And it really is one of those like, and this is, I guess, more my business philosophy and what my understanding of like how things could or should work is like, the more you like the people around you, the more you're probably going to show up. But when we're working out, you don't always get the chance to hang out with those people or get to know maybe every side of that person. So it's like, hey, let's have some opportunities where we go out and have fun. But then also, I think with the community aspect of it, it's like, it's good to show people that like, we don't just like live and die lifting weights and like eating healthy. It's like, I mean, I do want that majority of the time, but like it's cool to go to a game and like drink a beer and like watch baseball, or like go play golf together and like hang out, you know, like it's like, okay, we still live a normal life outside of here. And if we can show more people that, especially new people, because I think there's the stigma of new people coming in and like, these people are freaks, they just lift weights and they eat healthy and like that's all they do.
Oh,
And it's like, okay, come to this member hangout and you'll see that like that's not necessarily true. Like we do those things regularly, but we also like live life outside of the gym, which I think, so that kind of helps people like get more comfortable faster, and not feel like they have to, not that you can't have like a diary like log of nutrition and fitness and things like that and like take it super serious, but it's like, hey, like if you're doing this consistently, then it's okay to still live your life outside of this, because you're kind of not necessarily counterbalancing everything, but like, you know, like you're still having fun and you're enjoying it.
right.
And so I think that's where kind of our community focus was get people together, get them to enjoy each other, but then get them to realize like it's okay to live your life too. And so do we. And that's kind of maybe what makes us different. I don't know. Like I don't go to other gyms in the area, but
There was a moment during like the open this year where I was struggling. My dog died. Work was tough. There's just things going on, and I was like in a little mini depression, right? But I'd come in here and have fun and be happy and normal. And just one day was tough, and we were doing the open workout, and not just people supporting me, but like watching people support each other and like cheer each other on, and just really realize how special this place is and how good we got it. I think I emailed you like, "Hey man, thanks for this. Like this is fun." And you had responded back like, "It's not just about me and what I've created, but it's about all you guys and what you guys bring to the table too." And yeah, that's totally true. Like without each and every one of the people that come in here today, it wouldn't be what it is. So
I mean, we started it, I started it, and I just treat people the way I feel like they should be treated. And I am Taylor kind of hated it when we started dating. My bad. She called me like a social butterfly and whatnot. And it's like, I just like to talk to people, and, like get to know them, you know, and like, obviously in the beginning too, it was like one-on-one classes or two-on-one classes. So I had a lot more time to like get to know everybody, and that kind of built. But what that did was also it rubbed off on people. And I noticed over time that like other members were starting to talk to other members or spend more time with other members, you know, and like that's where like what I emailed you back was like, it's not me. Like I started it, but like y'all hang out with each other, y'all talk to each other. Like you'll be here for 30 minutes after noon class if I don't kick you out the door, because y'all are all just hanging out and talking, which is awesome. Like that's y'all. That's not me sitting down like, hey, let's get together and chat. Like y'all just choose to do that, right? Or like, you know, there was a poker group started years ago with like a couple guys, and it's grown, and I think there's like 30 plus people in that chat now. Of
yeah,
like
I'd love
that
to be a part of that, guys, but I'm not getting an Apple.
Android. But like that just organically grew. That wasn't something we pushed or did. It was just like, hey, do you like to play poker? Cool, I'll throw you in this chat. And then there will be random nights like at your house, like you host, like no one even asked you to host. You're just like, hey, I'll host poker, and like 20 people will be there, you know. And it's like things like that like you're at saying thank you to me for doing something, but really I'm thanking you because like you're the ones leading and guiding. And there's other situations like that happen in the gym, that, you know, were never led or brought up by me. It just like y'all do it. And when new people come in, like we don't say, hey, go talk to that person, say hi. Like y'all just do those things.
Yeah.
Because we did them in the beginning and other people did them. And then when you came here, it happened to you. So then you turn around and do it to somebody else. And it's just like this chain reaction that makes our community what it is. It's not this fake behind the scene, like, okay, I need you to go over there and say hi and pretend like you like this person. Like,
it isn't.
Y'all literally just do it. And then it's like, cool, my job's easier. Now I can just go back to coaching. I don't have to be like, hey, you know, like all bubbly and stuff. Not that I don't want to be, but like it just happens. And that's the cool part about it. And your email, I get texts and emails, and I love them because like it makes me feel good about like, cool, we have set up a place that like people legitimately feel this, because like it wasn't a prompted anything, like it just, you just said it. And it's like, cool, that was our number one goal when we opened this gym, was to build a place that people want to come to and hang out at. And then they'll get fit while they do that. And so it's cool to see and know that like you feel that way, and I know others do as well about being here. So
even
pretty
besides the new people, even like just somebody from the 5:30 a.m. class shows up that I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, what's your name?
I always love that because
Where are you from?
He'll be like, oh, you're new around here. And it's like, no, they've been a member for about 2 years. You've just never seen them.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, my bad. Well, welcome to
We've
Noon.
been in the same spot for years, but never saw each other. And then, yeah, it's funny. Like I'll come into an afternoon class, like maybe around this time every now and then, and people are like, what the heck are you doing here? And I'm
That's
like,
not your time.
sorry.
You're not allowed here in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No, I do love it. Like the classes and the camaraderie we got and the Noon 05 stuff and different classes kind of having their thing. It's a lot of fun. And so for Noon 05, for anybody who doesn't know, it's because there's definitely a few of us that notoriously would show up late and try to get better at it. So we started just calling it the Noon 05 because that's about when everybody's finally there.
It's about, and there is a handful of people that it's pretty consistent with, but it will just be like a random noon or two. Like it'll be like the one person that always like gives everyone else shit for it, and then they show up late, and it's like, aha, you are part of the Noon 05. Like
I'll always thank them. I'd be like, thank you for representing us today. We needed one of you.
Nate's over here like smirking and laughing because he's like, God, I would hate to coach that.
Yeah.
I will say it does. Anyone that's doesn't coach noon regularly, it would probably throw them off. Like, and it did in the beginning, like with other coaches, like me coaching almost all the classes in the beginning, I just got used to the vibe of each class.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I'm just used to this. But then it's like a new person, like, hey, you want to coach? Yeah, I'll coach the noon class. Sweet. And I didn't think to be like, hey, they show up late, they talk a lot. You really have to, it's like controlling cat. Like I didn't like have to go through all these things because in my head I just do it. But then like usually like a coach will be like, dang, that noon class. And it's like, oh yeah, that's normal. You just have to kind of control it. But it's fun too. Like because it's its own normal vibe. We can't really do it at another time, or it doesn't really happen at another time because like the morning people, like they show up, they work out, they gotta leave.
Yeah.
Right. The afternoon we have back-to-back classes.
Right.
So it's like we can't really get behind. We need to stay on top of stuff. But the noon seems to be more like, cool, it's a little more lax. People are on their lunch breaks or they're off for the day or whatever.
Right.
So there's a little bit more leeway with it. And there are still some people that need to get done. So it's like, hey, like we do need to get this going. We can't hang out all day. So it's just finding that kind of balance. But it is a fun class, and every class kind of again has like its own personality, I would say, as far as the structure of it, the people that are in it and whatnot. So it is cool though when other people do drop into other classes because they get that experience,
get to feel it out.
But I would say I think anyone watching this that hasn't been to a noon class, you should try it out. I think it's the most fun class, personally. Like just as far as like it's busy, everyone talks to each other, everyone gives each other crap, everyone supports each other at the same time. Like it's literally like a good wrap of like everything. But you should probably plan on being here longer than
yeah, you don't
like
have anybody
or 5 maybe. Like it's really usually not that late.
Right.
As far as like wrapping up the workout, but then again 10, 15, 20 minutes later, if I don't have something to do, people are still hanging out, like talking.
Especially if it's a tough workout.
Now that we have the deck, we can just be like, hey, go out there and I'll close this door down and we'll do that. But
I know.
Did you start Noon 05? Or do we know who like was the first person to just be like, this is the Noon 05?
I think that I don't want to claim that I did, but I think I did start talking about it, or at least using it more and more to where it finally became a thing. I feel like I was one of the people who would show up. I'm working till like almost noon, and so I'm like, God, I got to get there, and I'm like 5-minute drive away, but sometimes it takes a little longer if there's lights, so you don't make it here right at noon. So I started getting a lot of crap from people like showing up late, and I'm like, it's the Noon 05 class. What are you talking about? I'm on time. And I just kind of like, if I'm at 12:02, I'm like, I'm 3 minutes early, and it became a thing. It's fun. I love it.
We just
now we got t-shirts.
Instead of fighting it, we just dove into it.
Embrace it.
Embrace
the chaos.
I mean, it is. We do, I would say, as coaches, we want people to show up on time. We do need to start a brief and get things going, but it's also like I built this gym based off of experiences I had at other gyms and like what I liked and what I didn't like. And I had been at a gym where like if you showed up late, like it was just like, what are you doing? Why'd you show up late? Or like, you have to wait till the next class, or like, you're going to do burpees. And there's like some kind of punishment or feeling about it. And it's like, these people are working and like trying to live and also get to the gym. Like, why are we making them feel bad about like, they gave it their best effort to come in?
Yeah.
Like, and we really don't have the people that like come in late, like, oh my God, I'm just having a good day, and like have a coffee and like, okay, like that would be different. But I do feel like at least when people are showing up, like they are rushing in the door, like getting their shoes on, like, you know, jumping into the brief. And it's like, okay, they were trying to get here. I don't know what they were doing before, or like, could they have left a little earlier? Like, could that be a new habit that maybe hey, I just leave the house a little earlier? But I would say at least with the noon class, like it's probably a lunch break for most people, or something in the middle of their day. And it's like, okay, a bunch of stuff happened. They were planning on coming to the gym and they're just trying to get here. And obviously being close to Wade Hampton and Greenville's growing like crazy, like driving, you never know what you're going to get, as far as trying to get here on time. So
yeah, it definitely was one of the problems at first. I think one time we got like an email that was like, hey, you guys want to make it a little easier on the coaches and listen and show up on time and be more respectful. I'm like, he might not be talking to me, but I feel
like that was at me.
So I feel like I got a lot better after that.
Yeah, I did send out that email, but it was happening at a lot of different class times, and it wasn't necessarily a couple minutes. Like it was like people would be showing up like after the brief, like middle of the warm up. And it's like, now I have to try to explain the workout to you while also try to coach. And like, you're asking a bunch of questions, not you, but like, you know what I mean? Like it just slows down the way that class works. It's like, if people are showing up like during the brief and, or, are more experienced, have been here for a while, have probably looked at Sugar Wad today, understand what they're getting into, and then they're also willing to just jump into the warm up and not have to be explained a list of warm up movements, then it's like it's not the end of the world. But I would say it's interesting. I've experienced this a couple times, not a couple, a good bit. Newer people for some reason don't understand that like class starts at 12 or 4:30 or 5:30, and they'll like email me, be like, hey, I'm gonna come tomorrow afternoon at the 4:30 class. I'm like, cool. And like I'm 4:25, 4:26, I'm like, don't see it. 4:30, I start doing the brief. They roll in at like 4:34, haven't filled out a waiver, have no idea what they're doing, have never even been in the gym before. And it's just like, okay, that just changed everything about how I need to coach today. And like those are the ones that like, if we don't that day be like, hey, by the way, we need you to show up a little earlier, make sure that you're ready for when class starts, because we want to go through all this stuff. And it's like, if we just kind of like, hey, jump in, then they do it again. And and then it's like, okay, we gotta figure this out. So it's like trying not to let people create a habit. And then I've gotten better too, of like when I'm emailing them of like, hey, please go ahead and fill out a waiver. And if you don't, show up a little early, but then also like we'll chat a little bit before class. And so it's just been a learning process.
My wife would be a problem here. She's not going to watch it, so it's okay.
Perfect.
But she is like, she's got a busy schedule. She like runs a Montessori school co-op, and does burn boot camp, and she'll get in there probably on time maybe, but then she'll like leave early. And so like she just kind of does her own thing and floats. I'm like, man, you would
be tough.
You can't do that here.
You can't leave in the middle of a 12-minute AMRAP 6 minutes in. That doesn't work.
I did make her come here once and try it, and she was so confused. It's hilarious. She's so we do the weightlifting portion of the workout. And she sees us all kind of like chatting and getting our reps in, and then going and maybe checking our phone, getting a drink, and then chatting and doing another set. And then we go to the AMRAP or whatever we did that day, and it was like bike and a couple other things. And I look over at her while I'm like on the bike, and she's going and checking her phone and grabbing some water. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you got to keep moving. Come on. And she tells me afterwards, like, well, I don't know what you guys do. Like, you're sitting there and you're chatting with each other and you're drinking water. I'm like, yeah, during the first part, but the second part, we're all working our butts off until the time's up. She's like, I don't understand. And they do burn, which, no hate on that. I tried it once and I almost puked at the end because they just moved for like 45 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And that's what she's used to. So
just like go. Yeah. It is funny when new people come in, because it's like during the lifting, I feel like we have to slow them down because they're like, oh, this is CrossFit, I'm supposed to go fast. And they just like, it's like we're doing 7 sets for the day, and they do 7 sets in like 5 minutes. And it's like, but I told you had 25 minutes. And I've been trying to tell you every time I check on them, I'm like, okay, rest for like a minute or two, then add a little bit of weight and do it again. And then I walk away and I turn around and they're like lifting again. And I'm like, no, that wasn't long enough rest. But then we get to the workout and they're either dying because they're already tired, or we're like explaining the things to get out, and they're like already in the like starting the workout, like they're over there like on the bike or like doing kettlebell swings or whatever, and then you like walk over, you're like, okay, yeah, that's a good weight, and they're like, oh, have we started already? And it's like, no, we're gonna start a clock, like this part we're gonna be like on a timer.
Yeah. Once you're on time, you're good.
It is interesting to like kind of like, I mean, and I think now the way our foundations class is set up is better for people to go through that, because we do little workouts with them and we kind of explain some lifting, and they get to be here during a class to kind of see how those things work. So we probably have less of that moving forward. But the random drop-ins are like the one day they want to come try it out, and it's just like, okay, like breathe a little bit. Okay, now we want you to go faster, and it's just kind of like guiding new people through that. But I could see as someone that has like a different workout experience of like, this is what I do at my gym, and then they come in here, and I mean that's probably different for like other CrossFit gyms too. Like, everything's probably structured a little differently. I know there's a gym in the area Ryan was telling me he went to, and they do the warm up, then do the brief, then do the strength.
Okay.
So they get people moving, then go through like the next part.
Okay.
Which I'm like, that works if your brief is short and like you're not too long, because you need to. I mean, I'm sure they brief the warm up a little bit, like, hey, here's the warm up. All right, let's go. And then they meet back at the board and go over the next part. But it's like, if you talk too much now, I'm no longer warm, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. So it does take a good coach. And again, if that's the way it's been, then like people are used to that, so they know, okay, I need to come back here. I need to do this. So I think every gym and the way that they do things is probably a little different there.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get some of those people that don't understand much on Bring a Friend Week coming up here.
Are you bringing some friends?
I've tried. Everybody's like, nah. So that's another thing with
Okay, I'll let you say that.
Okay.
I have a question.
That's another thing with why I'm very happy I started doing CrossFit, is because the amount of people that they'll see that like I've gotten more fit and whatnot, and they're like, man, I got to do something. And then you see them the following year and they're like, man, I got to do something. And it just keeps happening. I'm like, well, then you got to do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.
My question is, why do you think it's so hard to get people here? Like there's clearly people that see you getting fitter and need to do something, but like
maybe just thinking like, hey, I'm doing fine. Even though they say certain things, or they maybe are nervous about like, can I keep up with it? I've told people that I know would be good at it that like, I'm not trying to push you. I don't want to be that guy that's like CrossFit, but like, I think you'd enjoy it and you'd be good at it. Like, and you already know some of my friends from there anyway, so come on, just try it out. But I don't know why. It's just hard to like, once you make it a habit, then boom, it's good. But like, just to try something new and to get in the swing of it, it might be tough to start that.
Do you think people feel like they're like, I mean, I have a couple of things that I think, but like, do you think people think they're going to be judged, or like they're afraid to look that out of shape, or they're afraid it is actually dangerous somehow, or like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think for everybody it could be different, but definitely some of those things for sure.
We were trying to, and I was talking to Amy about this on the last podcast. Like I'm doing research. Maybe I'll ask every person this, because like I want to know, because like I did CrossFit in college and I just found it and I was young enough and like I just kind of jumped into it. And maybe it was newer then, but I do feel like there's this thing that like, and our thing used to be like, our warm-up's harder than your workout. Like it was like this in your face, I do CrossFit, it's hard, and I'm proud about it. But like we now know 10, 12 years later, like that's probably not the best way to get people in the door when you want everyone to be fit, right? And so it's like, okay, how do we find this? Like, it's not dangerous. It's not the craziest, hardest thing ever. Like, you don't have to go that hard. You can, but like, hey, it's like, it's okay for you to walk in these doors no matter how in shape or not in shape you are. And like, we're going to help you work out.
Yeah. You don't have to do a ring muscle up on day one.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to kind of figure out what you want to, of course you do in the middle of the podcast. Kind of how do we break those barriers, and what does that lead to get more people in these doors? Because I do think there's that lot of like, hey, like you see that I'm getting better and you need to get better, but like, yet you won't come into this gym with me. And then everyone, like when we do our member Mondays or like we talk to people, like the number one thing I feel like I hear is like, I wish I would have started sooner. Like you said, you wish you would have hurt your knee sooner so that you would have started sooner.
I do. And that's what it took for me.
Yeah.
I think that for me, it was just like, I'm okay the way I am
Keep chatting. I gotta
so
get this
far.
dog.
Maybe some people are worried that it might be too hard, and they're just like, I enjoy going home and watching TV or playing a video game instead of putting in some work for an hour. But I
Yeah.
think that for me at least, and I'm a little bit more extroverted. I don't know if everybody's this way, but like for me, it's fun. And yeah, it hurts sometimes and it's tough and it's not easy and you're sweating, but I have a lot of fun doing it. And I love kind of like the milestone thing of like seeing improvement as you go.
Yeah.
And I think if people got a taste of that, then they would get addicted to it too and want to keep doing it. And then it's good for you. So it's fun. You meet cool people.
You don't have to sell me.
Shit.
I know it's. I'm just saying, like, I just wish, like, do we just get people a document? Should we do flyers? Should we just be like, hey, this is really a thing?
I don't know. Just
Like-
start sending them out. Yeah, the videos are good.
Like,
People see it, we share, we try to show it off. But
give it to you for free, and y'all still
Yeah.
don't want it.
free visit. I mean, a lot of people want like a quick, give me a pill or a shot to just make me fitter. And for me, besides the PT that took months and months and months, and then now 3.5 years at CrossFit, like it's cool seeing the progression after 6 months. I remember noticing like something after 6 months, and then after a year and a half, you see something else, and you slowly see these things, and you're like, now it's been 3.5 years. So yeah, it takes time, but also time is flying when you're
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah.
So,
I do think it's unfortunately, the world we live in is that I want the quick fix. I
Yeah.
want the pill that's going to burn the fat
Right.
or like make me look better, or, I want to go to this recovery sauna place and that's going to just melt the fat right off of me and I'm going to look better. And it's like, that's not really how these long-term things work.
yeah.
So Nate, I'm sure you have a question for Ronnie. I got to do something with this dog and I think she wants to finish. So unload something. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
All right. So, starting question. So, said you're in your best shape of your life at 40 years old, right? How has being in the best shape of your life now at 40 with kids, a wife, how has that impacted the at home life, I guess, if you will? Does that make sense?
I think the kids see it and try to encourage them, which is pretty important for your kids to see that like you care about staying healthy. And it's not just me at CrossFit, but also my wife actually started working out well before I did, probably 1.5 years before I even started working out. So like they saw mom getting up early and putting in some work to stay healthy and stay fit. And I did some sports and here and there, but then now they see me, like every day that I'm home and I have time, I'm going to the gym as well. So it's helped. It's kind of fun with like the wife comparing, our accomplishments and progression through her at Burn, me at CrossFit, and seeing that. And then we both just look better and we're getting older. So as your body changes and you get older, you might not look as great. But now I feel like, hey, babe, I look better than I did at our wedding a long time ago. So I think in that case, hopefully she's happy.
Yeah.
She used to make fun of me a lot because I'd come home excited about like something that happened at CrossFit. And she's like, oh, good for you. And I told her like one day, like, hey, like,
I'm actually excited about this.
I'm excited. And then she'd lay off because I start going back at her like, yeah, at Burn today we had leg day. Like, you had leg day? We don't have leg day. We just do it all at the same day. And I just start giving her crap. So
Yeah.
we have fun with it there too. But definitely, I remember a time where I think I hurt my elbow like playing volleyball or something. And, my daughter like ran to me to lift her up. And I was like, like couldn't lift her up past like right here. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that right now. And then just like kind of getting more fit and understanding your body better and getting a lot stronger. I hope they can see that too, because now I can lift them up better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can do more things
Mhm.
with, I mean, kind of what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming the question was, I heard something about you're 40
family.
and you're in the best shape of your life, and how does it affect your
Yeah. Yeah. So instead of me being 40 and kind of like falling apart, they see me kind of being stronger. And I hope that inspires the kids for sure.
Well, I know I saw you posted something with Ruthie doing gymnastics the
Mhm.
other day, right? So do you feel like it's kind of cool that you being 40 can understand what she's doing because you kind of do some of those things, but then also like help her at home, or like, hey, I can do those, like almost have fun like doing it with her,
Yeah.
like outside of that versus
I'll
like
do like a handstand up against the wall, and I'm like, check this out.
like
Here's
I
a
can do that
handstand
too.
push up. What?
Which is cool. Like, parents can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
I've always had, like, we just had Hallie, and in my head, I always wanted to be the dad that, like, if my kid played sports, I was able to, like, go out there and practice or, like, help them get better at what they were doing. Not the dad that just sat in the bleachers and, like, wasn't fit enough to, like,
Yeah.
actually go, like, I don't, whatever the sport is, like, like it's just like, oh, I'll just hire somebody else to do it, or like drop you off and like not worry. Like, I wanted to be the one to like go out there and like be able to still do those things at 40, 50, or however old, depending on how old my kid was and like what they were into. So I saw that with Ruthie the other day.
Yeah.
And, like, my first thought was like, and I think I messaged you about it too, was like, do you just want to be out there like playing and like swinging around? Because it's
Yeah.
like she was kipping and like turning on like the gymnastics bar, and it's like you could probably do that,
Mhm.
like whatever. So it's like,
Yeah, they have
I think that's-
trampolines and Ninja Warrior course. I'm like, man, I may be 40, but I feel like I want to get out there and be a kid.
I can do this. I can do this.
And I'd like to take credit for Ruthie's athleticness, but my wife was a gymnast acrobat back when she was young, and I used to go to her shows and things when we were like in our late teens and whatnot. And she could do like back handsprings nonstop, and I could never do that. So
Hey, we can teach you. Gymnastics class coming soon.
I'll say one thing with the knee injury is like you're a lot more cautious.
Oh, yeah.
So like even just jumping off of a box from a box jump, I'm just like, take it easy, right? Not as like springy and crazy as I used to be when I'm younger, but
Yeah. No, I can see that. And well, and that's an age thing too, which I chat a lot about with people of like, because we'll take it to the handstand example. Like, people come in here and they can lift a bunch of weight over their head or whatever, but like you ask them to kick up on the wall and they freeze. And it's like, your brain's pretty powerful. It's telling you you've never done this before and you could get hurt, right?
Yeah.
So like, but like kids don't, like, if I was like, went over to the kids class and I was like, hey, kick up on that wall, they're like, and they might fall right on their face.
Yeah.
They don't care, but they didn't even think
No
about
fear.
it. They just literally did it. So it's like, there are age, not limits, like times where like our brain develops certain things and things matter. That's why they always say like, late teens, early 20s, like men are like the most dangerous because they're not afraid. They think they're like the invincible person and they're just ready to go do whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like once you hit like your late 20s, early 30s, you start realizing like there's consequences for things if you mess it up. And then I'm not 40 yet, but I'm sure at like 40, like it's like, okay, I do have more of a family I need to take care of. And there's these other things that like, if I get hurt now, these other responsibilities matter. And it's like, I can't do these things. Right. And then so on and so forth in your life. So it's like, understanding that with people of like, there are these brain limits and trying to either help them break that or understand that like, not convince them, but like, hey, you are strong enough to do this now. We just need to break this mental side of this thing so that you can go do this other thing if you want to. But it's also okay that like, if you don't want to, you understand the consequences that if this doesn't go well, and like at the end of the day, does everyone need to do a handstand? No. Cool. Let's put something over our head and work on shoulder stability that way instead of our body. So.
And you asked about family also, like with work. I don't do physical labor that much, but every now and then I might go out and help some of the technicians when we're putting in some equipment. And I just remember like telling Cam once, like, I'm deadlifting, these like steel plates today. Is that good? Does that mean I'm committed or whatever? Like, I definitely like noticed myself paying more attention to my form. I'm not going to pull my back out. I'm not going to, strain my shoulder or something, and squatting more to like pick things up instead of just like using my long arm to grab something. So I've definitely noticed it in everyday life, not only with the family, but also work when I do get into a situation like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about this with Amy a little bit, but more like with her kids. But like, do you feel like that doing things in here makes you feel more capable outside of here? Like, you don't really maybe in the past you would have been like, oh, someone needs to help me, or like I shouldn't do that, I'll call somebody to come do that. But now you just feel more like I can pick that up and move it or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just like a a man anyway, so I'm gonna have that attitude. But now like I can actually back it up with some strength. Before it was just like I'm a scrawny little guy, and just in my head I could lift like 500 pounds, but
Really couldn't.
really couldn't. So
We're getting there. We're getting there.
like the attitude was there, but not the physical actual part of it. So
I do have another question. I know we're pushing a lot of time here,
I
but
thought we were doing like a 3-hour one today.
that's fine. I'm good. I'm here.
All right.
With that, the strength port does Ronnie realize his strengths and weaknesses, and does one bother him, or does he get excited? Like, do you like see other people and you're like, man, I really wish I could do that, but then also some days you're like, ooh, like I'm really good at this and these other people aren't. Like, how does that affect your mindset when there's like a workout?
Well, as some of you guys know, I have RX lady goals. So I've learned throughout my time here that like I'm probably not going to bench as much as Phil or deadlift as much as Tremaine or that type of stuff. Like I got a different body type, and I'm probably never going to get to those levels of like lifting really heavy. And so I jokingly say, like, I just want to be as good as the ladies. But yeah, there are definitely things that I can excel better at, which is like not always the most fun. So we have like a running workout, and I know that I'm one of the better runners as far as like short distances. I don't think I'd be great at like a real long distance one, and I'm like, dang, I gotta like try today some jumping stuff. Like, I gotta show out and try to be at the top of the leaderboard. Otherwise people know I kind of like didn't do my best. Yeah. So definitely there's different workouts where I will shine more. And then there's other ones where I'm just happy if I did it RX, or I'm happy if I did it scaled and put up a good number. So I think that took time though too. So that's why like when I first came in, you kind of just want to, if you're younger and competitive, you want to do what the best people can do. And you quickly realize that you can't. And if you try, you might get hurt. And that's where good coaching came in, but also being smart with yourself. So yeah, I definitely noticed things, but have seen progression, and I'm very happy kind of with where I'm at now throughout the 3.5 years. Because if I'd been here 3.5 years and I didn't see anything, I'd be like, cool, I met some great people, but like I didn't do better. And maybe where I came in, I wasn't at a point where like I'm happy here. So like I wanted to get stronger, and I had certain goals. Now I feel like I'm getting to a point where if I did kind of peak, I'd be like, it's okay, I'm happy. Yeah. But still want to get better at certain things here and there.
We're still PR.
Not going to give
like
up.
A week of PR.
We had a good week, man. That was nice.
Do you think, thinking back, so I think we've had a conversation, and I try to have it with every class, that like RX is always moving. Yeah. Right. To help keep everyone moving. Mm-hmm. Do you ever think about the fact that like what you do now probably was RX when you started? Or like closer to it than like maybe you were, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can move this bar, but like it's not RX today because RX has kind of moved. But like back when I first started, there's probably a workout with this bar. Like, does that make you? Have you ever thought about those things? Yeah, I mean, I remember like being able to move a 35-pound dumbbell and wishing I could do the 50-pounder to try to like, go up to the next level with the guys. And now being able to do a 50 and looking at the 70, like, hey, I want to move that guy more. Like, that's fun. I could do a couple snatches with it, but not going to be moving around as much. But I think besides myself seeing improvement, I have seen the gym as a whole, like looking at Sugar Watt and seeing like, okay, I'm at the bottom of the squat. Now, 3 years later, I've gotten so much better, but I'm still at the bottom because everyone's moving. Yeah. So the whole gym has gotten better throughout the years, which is really cool to see. Everybody's doing, making improvements and still PRing and getting stronger. So yeah, we're doing something.
We're doing something right?
My last question is on that same topic. Do you feel like saying and putting out there the RX Lady goals helps keep you mentally set to like your reminder of like, oh yeah, this is okay? Not that there's not days where you do go harder, but like, is that like a thing that's like, it is fun and it's cool to say, and like obviously like, but do you feel like you mentally like that helps you remind yourself that, okay, I am here just to work out, and like this is okay, and like I am fit?
Yeah, I think so. Like to be like the ladies beat my ass, so that's why it's a goal. It's not like
Yeah.
I am jokingly like no, like they beat my ass in a lot of things.
We
So
have some really fit ladies. Right
if I am scaled and doing a workout and I'm near like the RX ladies in a certain thing or in a weight,
Yeah.
I joke with Kayla all the time, like we mess around with each other back and forth, like, oh, you only lifted that much today,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, well. So
She's
if I'm
strong.
I know you're strong as hell. So if I can get somewhere near them, I'm like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
in a good spot right now for me. But
I mean, I didn't call it RX Lady Goals, but when we lived in Florida, there was a lot of like squatting, like lifting movements, mainly squats, that when we squatted, like, people partner up all the time. I squatted with the girls because we had some really fit girls
yeah,
that were like back squatting 225, 240, like things like that, which for me at the time, like that was close to my mat. Like whatever our percentages were, I lined up more with the females in
Yeah.
the gym than the guys, because the guys were like in the 300s and like I couldn't even one
Not
rep
even.
that. And I'm over here like, yeah, my percentage today is 185. Cool. There's 3 ladies on this bar and I'm just going to get in line and we're going to use the same rack, and
yeah,
and that's okay, because it's like that's where, like, instead of comparing yourself to other people, it's like, hey, this is where I'm at and I want to get better. And like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl,
right.
the same weight's the same weight. Like I know Nate works out with Claire, or
Hmm.
mainly worked out with Claire the first like year or two, like on the bar, and we were always like, I know he's got more, I know he can do it. And then there's days where Nate just comes out and just hits like big weights and it's like, there it is. But then like the next week he'll be like lifting with Claire again, and it's like he's just keeping himself in control and doing what he wants to do, which is perfectly fine. But it's like he's not afraid to. It's okay to lift with like, it doesn't matter what sex they are. Like
Right.
grab a bar, and I know Margaret does that a lot with some of the guys too, at like the 430 class and whatnot. It's just
Oh yeah, I
like,
bet.
hey, like a weight's a weight, and it's whether you can do it or not, and if it doesn't matter who else is there at that bar with you.
Right. If I could lift with the ladies, I'm like, we're at a good spot.
Yeah.
But I also have prepared a question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Nate answer first. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I don't
We'll
know
see
if
what it is.
asked this on one of the comments on the previous one, but and maybe I'll start with something that I brought. So with the increase in technology, we got people that like technology here, and artificial intelligence coming.
Oh man, a little AI question.
Yeah.
All right.
So my question is going to be, after I read this,
Okay.
have you used it in any way for CrossFit? And if so, how? And so I prepared a CrossFit Taylor's roast real quick
Oh boy.
using AI. So this isn't my words.
So we're gonna get roasted. Then you want me to answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I call this segment Chat CFT. All right. CrossFit Taylors, let's get into this sweaty mess you call a gym. First off, your 5:30 a.m. class is basically a casting call for the next serial killer documentary. Who else is unhinged enough to roll out of bed before the sun to grunt and throw barbells around? I bet they're all silently plotting their next move while doing burpees, marking their AMRAP rounds on the floor with chalk like they just took care of another victim on their list. Then there's the 9 a.m. class. Clearly the mom convention, picture it, yoga pants, iced coffee, and a side of, I'm just here to survive my kids. They're probably swapping parenting hacks while squatting more than Ronnie. Hey, what the heck? RX Lady Goals, all right?
Yeah.
Yep. The noon class, or should I say noon 05, is a masterclass in disrespecting punctuality, blaming traffic and the one stoplight in town on their tardiness. You got members so consistently late you just slapped an extra 5 minutes on the schedule like it's a personality trait. Maybe rename it whatever the hell you show up class for accuracy. Their motto, bring the chaos, is less of a slogan and more of a warning label for everyone else. Which is probably true. Like you said, we should have let the coaches.
Yeah, give them the heads up.
Yep. 4:30 p.m. crew, you're living your best life, chugging beers out in the new deck, treating workouts like a pregame for happy hour. Hope that deck holds up better than their questionable form, though.
Ooh, dang, 4:30.
Hey,
Hey.
AI.
I don't know. This sounds like it came from Ronnie.
5:30 p.m. class is probably just the 4:30 p.m. stragglers who got lost in a beer haze, toasting to their PRs. 6:30 p.m. class gets the opportunity to obsess over the leaderboard at the end of the day like it's their high school GPA. They're probably refreshing the scores on their phone mid-warm-up, plotting how to shave a couple seconds off their Fran time. Relax, it's Tuesday, not the open.
Yeah,
All right?
fair.
Then there's the CrossFit Kids class. Kids, you are not out of this, aka the coach's personal hell. After wrangling you adult gremlins, they've got to deal with your hyperactive mini-me's running wild, probably swinging from the rig like it's a jungle gym. I'd need a stiff drink after that too. Speaking of drinks, your fittest drinkers competition. 8 beers, a workout, and a prayer not to puke is peak CrossFit Taylor's energy. It's like you saw fitness and alcoholism and thought, why not both? And being right next to 13 Stripes Brewery, shout out. That's not a coincidence, it's a lifestyle. You're basically one burpee away from turning into a tap room with dumbbells. So, in short, CrossFit Taylor's is a chaotic circus of early morning psychos, tardy nooners, drunk deck dwellers, and competitive score chasers, all topped off with a side of screaming kids and beer-soaked workouts. Keep bringing the chaos, you absolute lunatics. So you can cut that out if it's a little offensive.
Honestly sounds
that was AI.
about right. I mean, that kind of sums up. I need to like copy and paste that for like.
And I left
like, what's
the,
CrossFit Taylor's like?
Yeah, that's it. I left the ageless athletes out because I have too much respect for them.
That was good. Yeah, you gotta have respect for the elders, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah,
it's new. We don't really know what that vibe is.
I actually, if anybody doesn't know, I got to do a Nuno 5 workout for CrossFit Taylor's, which is so much fun. First year, I did it all just kind of myself, and then asked for support of what I should change. And this year, I don't know if you knew, but I actually I was kind of behind on doing it. So I used AI to try to help me figure something out. I'm like, I know what I want, but I don't know how to put it together. So, and then we fine tuned it. Yeah. Have you ever used AI in any way for that?
No, Nate knows this. I'm not a technology person.
Yeah.
And Taylor knows that, and everyone around me knows that. I will say Tommy did when like AI started blowing up. He was like, dude, look at this. You can just type something in, and like he sent me a screenshot of like things, and it's like, so the way I understand AI is it just pulls from the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think AI could give you a good workout. You have to put things into it to get something out of it. So therefore, you're already giving it stipulations of like, here's either the equipment I have, or here's the things I like, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because like it's only going to give you what you give it,
right?
Essentially. So it could probably help come out with a workout. Now, when it comes to programming, we're not just thinking one workout out a day. We have to think about a week and a month or whatever. So, or like, where are we headed? And it's like, if I'm going to put all that into AI to get something out of it, like I might as well just go ahead and make the workouts if I have enough knowledge to do that. Now, I do think, could you use AI to do CrossFit and workout and probably get a pretty good workout? Yes. Would where AI is currently be able to give you the 3.5, 4 years of progress that you've seen through SugarWOD over time? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. It's yet to find out. Like, I don't know what that would look like. I don't know, because there are different versions and variations of CrossFit and different ways that people think about it and use it. Right. So it does come down to the people programming being like, okay, here's the goal. How are we going to get there? And then now I'm going to use my previous experience and knowledge of courses I've taken or things I've done or workouts or cycles I've been through that help me progress to this same goal. Versus I think AI would just pull a bunch of, it says 1 rep max squat clean. Okay, here's a bunch of workouts with squat cleans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is that going to help or is that not going to help? It's going to be too much. Is it going to be too little? Like the way, I don't know. So personally, I've never used AI and for anything, honestly, in my life.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Oh,
I did get asked to write a recommendation letter, and I hadn't done that in a very long time. And so I did do a recommendation letter for ex-gym employee looking for this job.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of went through and edited some of the information. Because like there's supposed to be like, at least in the business world, like a kind of a look to a recommendation letter, at least professionalism wise. And like I wanted to help the person out and I didn't want it to be like, yeah, I approve this person.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, I need like some guidelines of like how I should say what I want to say and things like that. So that's the one thing I have used it for. But outside of that, I haven't really used it. What about yourself, Nate? Have you used it or thought about using it?
I mean, I've definitely used AI for life in general, just different things. I think to your point, like there could be, I think it's hard for it to do cycles for programming. I think you get ideas from it, but it's kind of like what you said. It's like, if I want a specific thing, is this going to be too much or is this actually completely going to throw somebody off? I don't know if it really has that knowledge yet, but I do think you can get workout ideas or like, hey, some of the workout generators of like, I have this dumbbell, I have this, I'm willing to do these things is pretty interesting how it comes up with it. But I don't know if I would use AI at this point for like a 6-week cycle, if that makes sense.
and just be like, yep, that's it, copy paste.
No, you got to keep
Like,
talking
I
and
think
refining.
well, or like it would be an idea, and it's like, oh, I wanted to do like total bar squat and running, and then it gave me this workout, and it's like, yeah, that would kill somebody, or that would take 40 minutes. I only have 10 minutes, so then you take kind of maybe the layout and adjust the whatever, or it's too little, and I need to make it harder because I want to. So you could probably do something like that, but then it's also like in that week. You have to know as a programmer that like, oh, I kind of need to put total bar running and squats like together because of the way I've kind of structured these other things for the week. Just around it's I'll ask you this question, Nate. When it comes to programming, do you see it more as a science or an art?
Mhm.
I mean, a little bit of both, but I really think it's more of an art than a science. Like science obviously backs like, okay, we're going to do this because of this for to hit this muscle, whatever, and so on and so forth. But I really think programming is more of an art because everyone can put their own flavor, their own taste onto it. It doesn't have to be 6x6 or 5x, like you can change things up. You can put different patterns of time domains with, and that's the beauty of CrossFit in that sense of like, it's not so cookie cutter that it has to be the exact same thing every time. You're able to change things. Like you program a little bit differently than I do. Ronnie programs a lot differently than we do. Like, but I would,
But I did give you, so maybe you had AI is what you sent me, and then I gave you some feedback of like, okay, in a
Yeah.
class structure, because that's also part of programming, isn't just, okay, what's the workout? We have to think about how is the hour going to go? How's it going to break out? How much time do we need for each thing? Like, I can't just put something in unless I really want to do it. And if it's a 40-minute workout, then it's like, okay, I'm probably not putting something else with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're doing for the day. So it's like, if I have an idea or something that I do agree that there is a science behind it, but it is more art based of like, okay, I have this idea of this cool workout, or this is going to be hard, or I want this stimulus out of this workout. So this is kind of my base for the week. I'm going to start with this, and then I'm going to program around it. And versus if I just print out AI, like that might not fit the right way or the, in the right sense, but like also like, is that AI workout going to fit within that 1 hour class and be structured, or like we have to think about the equipment and the layout of the room, and there's a lot of things, or like if there's 2 heats, like because we have a 20-person class, does this workout work?
Yeah.
So like I will say there's a lot more that goes into programming than probably a lot of people think or know or understand unless you started doing it. And even personally, like when I started programming, I had to adjust along the way. And I know when Nate started programming, I was giving him feedback of like, hey, great workouts, but like I'm going to adjust this, this, and this, and here's why.
Yeah.
And then over time, it's like I didn't have to do that as much or anymore because like he started seeing those sides of things of like, oh yeah, this was a good workout, but like, okay, if this happens, then like here's this or that, right? So you now have to take a little more time. I'm not just coming up with workouts that make sense, but I'm coming up with workouts that make sense and fit what all these other like kind of things that need to happen. And so AI can't be like, oh well, they run in a 1 hour class and Nuno 5 shows up late, and we also need to put 10 minutes in between for people to like transfer and change after this specific, like there's some weightlifting movements that I know if we do, it's pretty quick and easy to clean up. And there's some that is like, this is going to take a while. So I need to make sure that the workout's not so long or whatever. And so there's things like that.
Yeah.
Too. So, but I do think it'll continue to grow. And again, if I had a garage gym, or if I was just like working out at the Y or whatever, and I just was like, oh, I like CrossFit, I'm not at a CrossFit gym. Yeah, I would probably use AI to be like, I need a good CrossFit workout today, and just like give me something. And like it's probably going to pull something pretty solid.
Yeah.
And you could probably even put a time domain on like, I want a 30-minute workout.
Yeah. For me, I did like, hey, I want 12 reps and 5 reps, and here's some movements I want to include in it, and like throw out something, and then probably like 5 drafts before I sent to you, like kind of fine tune some stuff based on what I thought we could do, and eventually we got it down.
Maybe we should just make our jobs easier and just AI the next cycle, and then just see how it goes and be like, Ronnie suggested that this is what we should do.
Hey.
And we'll just say that we did it if people like it, and if we don't, it's like, oh, it was AI, it wasn't good.
Blame me. Yeah, see, just like
it was Ronnie's idea.
Nobody can be mad at me for roasting them because that was AI.
I will say, well, maybe end on this. I do like the roast, and the brewery being down here was one of the reasons why we picked this space over some of the other ones, because a lot of people like to drink beer, and a lot of CrossFitters like to enjoy their time outside of CrossFit.
Yeah.
And it was cool to have neighbors, and I knew people would be coming down the road, so it was easy to just put a sign out and be like, "Hey, there's a CrossFit gym there," right? So
Check it out.
there was a lot of reasons why, and then also it was one of the only places that already had, even though they weren't the best bathrooms, already had bathrooms. I
Right.
wasn't gonna have to build bathrooms,
Yeah.
so that was.
And we're
the brewery was
definitely
a big one.
not alcoholics here. We just
we-
deserve a nice little drink after we work hard.
We
So
enjoyed it most of the
come
time.
to Fitness Drinkers.
But you don't have
It's
to
a lot of
drink to
fun.
be here.
Exactly.
I haven't drank in 6 months.
You can have a donut
Yeah,
during the beer mile.
yeah, exactly.
Nothing
We're not all
wrong with
alcoholics.
that. Nah,
None of us are alcoholics.
none of us.
We would say something if we thought you were an alcoholic. How
But
about that?
you might
Because we're
also
that
know.
good of a community.
Might also notice it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's about it, unless you have any other questions. Nate, Ronnie?
no, I'm good. Yeah. Unless
Maybe
you
we'll-
want to keep going.
I think I'm good there. I'll let Nate do his
Yeah.
wrap up thing.
Thank you guys. That was fun.
Yeah. We'll do it.
All right, that will be this episode of Off the Rails, the longest episode we have done so far for the 8 or 9 episodes at this point. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, like, and comment just some questions that you would want to see. Ronnie's left questions on previous videos that we have talked about a little bit earlier on. And of course, these special guests are going to keep showing up for the next 3 to 4 weeks, I want to say. So hopefully we have some more great conversations there as well. So thank you all for watching. We will see you all next week on Off the Rails.